Up until the signing of Moises Caicedo, Declan Rice was the most expensive Premier League signing in history. He is still the most expensive English player of all time. The level of expectations upon him, the pressure that was seeped upon his shoulders when he signed on the dotted line for Arsenal Football Club could be enough to curtail, damage, slow down many players. We have seen in the Premier League when huge signings have been made, whether it's £50 million Fernando Torres from Liverpool to Chelsea, Man United signing Paul Pogba's, Antony's, Arsenal in the past signing Pepe's. We have seen big money signings struggle, flop, never live up to not only the price tag, but even the ability, performances, outputs that they demonstrated at their previous clubs. Declan Rice has had some people from the West Ham fan base, but definitely every Tottenham fan, definitely every Chelsea fan, many Man United fans as well, focusing on every single blade of grass he has covered since he signed for Arsenal, every preseason game, all 4 Premier League games so far, seeking for the chinks in the armor, the weaknesses, the mistakes, a misplaced pass, how often he's getting dribbled past, his lack of impact in games. You couple that with being the most expensive English player of all time, and for a while, the most expensive Premier League player of all time. And so far, Declan Rice has been nothing short of sensational for Arsenal. This isn't a flash in the pan. This is what I always believed Declan Rice was. Gutted that he has not become a Manchester United player. That's my stance. I wanted this guy to not only be part of my midfield, but I wanted him to be my club's captain. He has excellent footballing ability. He may not pass everybody's eye test, but at the end of the day, just because some people think that Peter Andre is their favorite singer of all time, just because they feel that way, doesn't make him better than Michael Jackson. The eye test is sometimes overrated. You have to look at the consistency of performance, deliverance, how well they perform, what they do in big games. And Declan Rice, for me, ticks all these boxes. Every single one of them he ticks. He also has fantastic leadership, fantastic mentality and ability to handle, absorb, harness, and weaponize pressure. Now, Man City are the favourites to win the Premier League, and I understand why that is. But this is the man that could, and I repeat that word could, before some of you try and twist it, could be the difference between Arsenal coming second this season and toppling the current, not just champions of England, not just champions of Europe, but treble winners. A team on course for a 4-peat of Premier League titles. Now, I'm going to get onto his mentality in a moment and explain why it's the most important part of Declan Rice. But when you break down his technical ability, he's playing in that holding role, and he was in that kind of lone 6 position against Man United at the weekend, and we saw the very best of him. Breaking up of play, class tackles, the amazing ability to progress the ball. His ball progressing ability is sensational, and it's always existed. But you've only ever watched Declan Rice play for England and West Ham with 2 of the most pragmatic managers in world football. Of course, with Moyes and Gareth Southgate, respectively. For me, only somebody with a weak football palate could not see what he would bring to a better side. But not only has his passing been great so far this season, 91% accuracy, it's the control, decision-making, ensuring that he's not playing the wrong passes. In that position, he hasn't got to be the guy that's breaking the lines all the time. He has to progress the ball in a way in which that maintains possession for his team at the right stages and doesn't put his side into trouble. Doesn't give the ball away in dangerous places, wins it back when vulnerable. 10 tackles already completed so far this season, 6 interceptions on top of that as well. And he's only been dribbled past on 2 occasions. 2 occasions in 4 games he's been dribbled past. It's astounding. It's astounding. You then throw into that the clutch goal against Man United. Now, he isn't going to be a 15-goal-a-season midfielder, in my personal opinion. But there's a question that some gooners raised. Can he replace the goals that Xhaka got for us last year? They could be very important. So 1 goal already in 4 games. I think Declan Rice could quite conceivably score between 5 to 10 Premier League goals for Arsenal this season. He can do that. But he can also come up, and he's shown it already against the Man United, which pains me as a Red, that he can win you games as well. Not just with his overall performance, but with clutch moments within a brilliant display. And then you have the mentality. I was about to say he's not a winner per se. He hasn't won Premier Leagues, he hasn't won Champions Leagues. But he did win the Conference League with West Ham, which pound for pound is a sensational achievement for a team with its overall quality and manager to go and win that trophy and him be the leader, the talisman. It's imperative. And I believe you will see these stories transpire. So bookmark this section of the video, 6 minutes and 20 seconds in. You will start to see stories emerge out of Arsenal in the coming weeks and months that he has come in. And although he doesn't have Man City or Barca, Real Madrid experience, his leadership ability, his mentality as an individual is giving something new and different to this team. Now, granted, Arsenal haven't been at the same scintillating, swashbuckling level of performances in their first 4 games this year as they were last season. But no 2 seasons are ever the same. I believe I read a stat today, and if I'm wrong, tell me, but I read a stat on Twitter that said that this is the first time under Pep's leadership at City that he's won his first 4 games of the season. Thus, no starts with season is ever the same. But they're on 10 points, Arsenal. And this man's only just getting started. His leadership qualities will shine through. And leadership qualities are often hard to quantify. But often you have to look at the way his teammates react to him, who he can speak to in particular ways and get a rise from them, where the manager ranks him in that hierarchy. And he may not ever wear the captain's armband for Arsenal. He may never actually put it on, but he's still going to be a captain. He'll still be somebody that everybody, including Odegaard, looks at for leadership, support, encouragement, and guidance during games. And then you have his ability to handle pressure. And this has impressed me more than anything else. If you've watched the Football Terrace long enough, you'll have seen me speak about this countless times. For all the ability you can have, for all the physical attributes that you may possess, if you don't have the right mentality, the correct mindset, the ability to handle pressure, to overcome adversity, you will not just fail in sport, but you will fail in life. And the reason that mentality gets played down by a lot of people is typically a reflection of how they feel about themselves or the feedback they've been given in their life as to why they haven't got to where they want to be. Mentality is rejected only by people who have been rejected. Mentality is only a concept that is pushed back upon by individuals who have not been able to look themselves in the mirror and admit their own faults. And what Declan Rice has done since joining Arsenal has been phenomenal. To handle that pressure, and there's been a lot of the Emirates this season, fans want an equally good start to last season. They want to, at the bare minimum, challenge again for the Premier League and win a trophy this year. And you can hear it on match days through the television. I bet it's even more palpable, even more noticeable when you're at the ground. But there was a tension in the air. Maybe that's why, up until the Man United game, the better performances had come away from home, where there's less of that tension. Away fans have a different demeanor generally to home fans. But Declan Rice has handled this integration to this Arsenal team, the pressure that comes with it, seamlessly. Like a duck to water, with not an element of his game to overly critique. And it's that mentality that will spread through this Arsenal team throughout the course of the season. It may be different to what the Zinchenko's and the Gabriel Jesus brought in last year. By the way, I think Arsenal's performances with them two back in the starting 11 will also help them increase their performances. 1, for their technical ability. 2, their physical prowess. 3, their leadership, their mentality, their understanding of what it takes to win. Declan Rice is just going to complement this all further. You're already seeing the emergence of players like Fabio Vieira this season, starting to really justify why the manager spent money on him. You could argue Saka's been quiet, but we know he's going to come good. We know how talented this guy is. Now, none of this I want to be true as a Manchester United fan. But on the terrace, I speak about football through an unbiased lens. Sometimes I'm going to criticize you. Sometimes I'm going to praise you. But it's all done with what I genuinely believe to be true. And Declan Rice, he could genuinely, honestly, truthfully be the missing link, the missing piece of the puzzle to actually make Arsenal champions of England for the first time in 20 years. It's going to take everything Declan Rice has got and his teammates to boot to beat this Man City team, who are mine and everybody else's favourites. But the notion of writing this Arsenal team off this early in the campaign, I think is premature, is wrong, and could leave a lot of people with egg on their faces. I'd love to gauge your opinions, not just on the Declan Rice start. We all know he's worth the money. He could be the first £100 million player in Premier League history, or player of 80 million plus history in the Premier League, probably barring Van Dijk, to prove his worth almost instantly. Let me know in the comments sections below what you think, what you feel, your opinions on this, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.